Scabee bee 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 bee. No, 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 Arnie, it's the best stoner stream ever. It's the best stoner ever stream ever. Arnie, you need to say it right. Yeah, no, you need to say it right. Then it'll make sense, Arnie. That, don't say that, Arnie. You're hurting my feelings. Yeah, Skabibi. See, Skabibi gets it. Where's my buddy Darby at? There he is. Darby. What should I start with, Darby? 805 or Voodoo Ranger? $805, let's do it. Whoa, Tito. Can't believe you said that, Tito. Tito, did you come through with Cash App like you said you would? You weren't just teasing me, were you? Shakewell's hecka cool. Yeah, Hurlis, look at you. You're a scientist. How do you figure out this stuff? You must be like a private investigator or something, Hurlis. Hey, Tito.
Hit the bong through your nose.
Gonna hit the pipe, maybe. Thank you, Tito. You silly, I don't know, Paradox. I think I'm just gonna chill and write poetry about you. Yeah, Darby. Cheers.
Yo, let's go eat, dog. I'm fucking starving.
Paradox, I'm fucking starving, man. Fucking starving, man. Fucking starving.
Bitch, I've been a scrub since day one. Scrub another toilet till the pay come. Popping 10 pills till the pain's numb. I can feel all the head from my day one.
How's Nevada? It's good. It's great. Cheers.
I ain't paper no hoe, I'm just feeling it. Where in the fuck were you at? Am I sentencing? What the sentence is? The judges, he sentenced.
Arnie wants to watch me chug 805, Paradox. Did you get it?
Worth it, they said that I'm repping it. But what happens when that stuff
Don't you get that?
Pray the fuck boy don't get popped. They get picked up, picked on till they speak to the cops. I can hear squealing like some pigs in the pot. So I'm still praying that the case get dropped. Hey yo, Pooya, yeah, I've been praying a lot, but I don't know who's talking back. Is it Satan or God? Could be the voices in my head since I've been kicking the ox. All I really need is peace, so get it past me the ox. Wrap the cable around my neck and then I stand up on top. Keep the chair from my feet and I should tighten the knot. Damn, my bird snapping harder than the news did. Sorry, shawty, get fucked.
Yeah, Nevada's cool except for all the hurricanes and crocodiles.
No quality, I got the dudes red, cooling at the crib with some groupies they really cool with. No shame when I'm claiming no rapping, I got a rule clip. Pimping hoes in the hole, I'm shameless to get my crew fed.
You don't like this music, Arnie? What music do you like? What music do you like, babe? I want to make you happy, Arnie. What music do you like? You like this one? Country music. Country music. Five abortions. Y'all gay. Yeah, Paradox knows you so well.
I'm in some Solomon trainers, I got them shits pre-released. I just might take the zoot and roll that little bitch all in some key. I guard the lighter with my palm and spark it up in the breeze. I take the key fob out.
Do you at least think I look cute tonight, Arnie?
You best believe it, bitch. My G's in piece of frozen up. Troll all delete that shit, sound like Brendan Fraser way. I'm back up in this bitch. I'm puffing on that Zabu Zaza while I'm jiffing through the mist. I'm seeing northern lights. Constellations in my trichomes, ayy. I take a puff and flip the ashes with my eyes closed, ayy.
Yeah, Arnie likes this music.
Ice cold, ayy. I'm losing sleep and cooking.
I have 5 different channels.
Ashes on my keyboard, burns all on my MacBook. We up, but we don't key score, nah. Hey, bitch, I'm a SoundCloud legend. How I turn smoking weed and kicking flows.
What are all 5 of the channels, Hurlis? What are all 5 of the channels' names called? Oh, what are all 5 of the channels? Alright, we got Shabisky Music. Okay, that's one. Where's the jam? Okay, okay.
One, two. Ay.
Yeah, you can join my other Discord server.
Check.
I'll put it in. Well,
Ay.
I think it works when I click to try to get an invite. Yeah, someone else would have to do it. Or wait, I could do it like this. No, I don't own the Drunken Peasants channel,
I've been away for a minute. I just had to recharge. Hey, but I'm back with a Jet Sport bag full of weed and cigars. No stress, nah. Hey, I'm feeling lovely.
That's a channel that I go on a lot.
Twisted in a Honda Civic, boy, that shit's every day for me. Pinky ring look like a cupcake, sprinkles and frosting, fresh out the bakery. Better late than never, brand new interface. I had to mitigate the latency. Man, after revenge, I don't see how you could hate on me. Tennis chain, Richie Tenenbaum. Hey, us and them, we don't get along. Eating good lasagna with a parmesan. Count hundreds with a suit of armor on. This is Ollie's world. Riding ATVs through the mud. It's a brand new Air Force Ones with a big name hoodie zipped all the way up. Bon appetit, this beat. Off grid where you can't reach me.
Yeah, Tap is also not my channel. Oh, that's true.
Shooting from the 3, little boy can't guard me. I'm shooting from the 3, little boy can't guard me. Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, come dumpster.
Girl, gon' come up, roll us some dope. Oh yeah, gon' sip it slow. White styrofoam, you know us. Bands we could blow.
Yeah, you did miss Dank Dumpster as well as there's like another channel I own, but I don't remember stuff.
Oh yeah, gon' sip it slow. White styrofoam, you know us. Bands we could blow. Cash overload, it's nothing. We could go anywhere you want. Oh yeah,
Dobby. Cheers, Dobby.
Big backyard, 4-car garage, nothing. Bad little bitch in a foreign car. Oh yeah, hop about the bed.
Shabisky Live, yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been laying low out in Tokyo. Oh yeah, gorillas on my coat. Faces for
Should
the
I do
lows,
that?
nothing. I mix it with Supreme, rolling purple weed. Oh yeah, I pull up in that Jeep, smoking gasoline. Oh yeah, it's Fendi on my belt. I'm blessed, had a curve that bitch. Cut a little shawty, took a L when she said she ain't heard my shit. Yeah, I steps up to the mic, you know I got to murder it. Roll a cigarello, smell like marijuana in my
Where'd Bill Hicks go? He said he was on his way to the airport. Nah, Scooby, yes.
Girl, we could go anywhere you want. Oh yeah, girl, gon' come up, roll us some dope. Oh yeah, gon' sip it slow. White star.
Is Darby still here?
Bands we could blow, cash overload, it's nothing. Girl, we could go.
I think Darby hates me, guys.
Oh yeah, baby, I'm a flush. I'm a
October 24, 2023. October 24, 2023. Of regret. Grease from perfect adjacent.
Look at you, Scooby.
To her freedom. But come tomorrow, he'll be gone. Well, loan me your shit on mine. I made a mess of my whole life. Oh, ever since we went our ways. I let a monster out the cage. I string along nice girls until they fall off the line. I rotate all my drugs and I tell them I'm fine. Yeah, but when the weekdays dopamine too. Serotonin Saturday, I'm coming for you. Cause I won't lie to myself.
Whoa, Tito. Whoa. Tito's being crazy.
I took a hold so deep I hear Chinese people speak. The love that comes my way I never can keep. The light that shines oh I never can find. I'm a broken man.
Well, loan me your shit on mine. My mother saw it make her cry. Oh, ever since we went our ways. I've fallen on the darkest days. I string along nice girls until they fall off the line. I rotate all my drugs and I tell them I'm fine. Yeah, but when the weekdays dopamine too. Serotonin Saturday, I'm coming for you. Cause I won't lie to myself this time. I'm a broken man, it's the truth.
with this tall boy already.
I won't lie to myself this time. I'm a broken man. It's the truth. I took a hold so deep I hear Chinese people speak. The love that comes my way I never can keep.
It looked like some like microwave lasagna or something, Arnie.
Shine so I never can find. I'm a broken man.
You talking about my cat, Tito? Yeah, he's hungry for some Jack. What's up, Smoke? Hell yeah, Smoke. Is Darby here? Did he leave? I miss Darby. Aren't I drunk yet? I'm about to get back to chugging, babe. I'm becoming immune to beer. Alright, cheers.
Cross you up like Allen Ivy. It's Allen Iverson. Versace rim with lemon tint. The lime beans candy coated with the applesauce. The apple blossom on the beach. David Hasselhoff. Hasselman, young Tim McGraw. I don't pass the ball. Ball hog, fourth quarter, shoot the lights off. Fast break, 3-on-1, I tear the basket off. How shit, look who it is, the white Wesley Snipes. Rocky Byzantine, my attitude is Charlie Sheen. Walk around with my rights on me, then a triple beam. Dimension 3-story living room with trampoline. Me casa so big it took the major hoe with the clean. I don't like to drive Versace jeans and limousine. I can freestyle to a dolphin in a tambourine. The snow abominable laughing inside my golden vault. The candy copper helicopter when I'm playing golf. Yeah. Yeah, I got bitches by the catalog playing leapfrog, butt naked in the living room, look like Reese with a spoon. Real fine. What's up, bitch? I'm bumping Dean Martin Christmas tunes. Every time I open up my email, see another million. That bitch wanna suck my dick, then she better floss. Clean them teeth for a boss. Randy Moss, diamonds on the cross. Swear to God, I'm a god though. I don't mean no blasphemy. Jesus seated Applebee's. Amen. I'm with my bitch in the bed watching Game of Thrones. Waiting till Khaleesi's dragons big enough to take control. Rich as Vince McMahon, your bitch look like Triple H. Keep that pussy on lock, put it in a safe. All my chains on, flexing while I'm shooting vines. Hoes love me, watching all them like a million times. Throwing money in your face, we forever pay. These hoes thirsty and I look like pink lemonade. Tastes great, grade A. Grab your bitch, take
Paradox, do you like this, Paradox? I think this is a cute song. You think that's a cute song, Paradox? Alright. How much beers have you drank, Paradox? It's aight. Your mom's pussy's aight. How many beers have you drank, Paradox? Number 7. Huh. Well, I drank 3 beers earlier. And then I had 4 Heinekens. And then I had a Voodoo Ranger. And then I'm having this. You know what I'm saying, Paradox?
Yeah, hey, wake up to my ends, motherfucker friend. Take a knee, amen, get back to my band. If I flip the once, I could flip again.
Are you feeling good, Paradox?
Wake up to my ends, motherfucker friend. Take a knee, amen, get back to my band. If I flip the once, I could flip again. If I jug you once, I could jig again.
Yeah, Paradox. Help me out more with this goal of Paradox if you can, Big Balls. You like this song, Arnie?
I'm just glad he let me get another chance. Thank you, diamonds on my baby Jesus, always wanna dance. Smoking buku gas, looking like I'm from Japan. Man, the way it's looking, soon I touch 100 bands. Shooting for an M, but you know I had to plan. Used to serve them junkies on my mama minivan. Chrysler Town and Country, come and get your lunch. Come here. I got nothing for you, less you placing orders. All this dope illegal like it cross the border. I'm a product of Miami at the coast. Why you cross me, dog? I thought we was brothers. Crazy how the closest to you wanna bust you. Humble through my struggles, running through the jungle. Gotta take a risk, make that paper double. Wake up to my ends, motherfucker friend. Take a knee, amen, get back to my band. If I flip the once, I could flip again. If I jug you once, I could jug again. Wake up to my ends, motherfucker friend. Take a knee, amen, get back to my band. If I flip the once, I could flip again. If I jug you once, I could jig again.
Do you like the music that I listen to, Paradox? Huh, babe?
I gotta go, I'm on a run. I got a lot of shit I gotta get away from. I don't think I've seen a sun in 8 months. Sitting in the rain, getting day drunk.
Oh yeah,
I
Paradox.
played dumb when the doctor said to only take once. I be coming better, get a ray gun. Wish a motherfucker would say something. Don't blame me, daydreamers, label ADHD. Making money, but I still ain't making more than men who make memes in their late teens. And the women that'll get in bed and get the camera ready, spread it like it's say cheese. There's a lot of ways to make a dollar, but there's not a lot of ways to break free. Every time that I make more money, the IRS will come take that from me. Scared money don't make no money. You know what I'm thinking? The bank got money. If you hardly getting paid at a job you fucking hate, tell the boss I quit this shit. Let's go rob the fucking bank. Let's go rob the fucking bank. Let's go rob the fucking bank. Yeah, I quit. I'ma go hit this lick real quick. Let's go rob the fucking. Did you hear that? Crickets. It's like when I first did shows at the open up and ain't sell no tickets. And I only got 5, 10, 15 minutes. So I got a lot to say when I drop the 808, pay attention. Oh shit. What if I told myself at a younger age I'd be stuck in the cube 300 days to make what? Less than 100K? Yeah, no shit. You can't tell me what to do and what to say. Can't be overused and underpaid. Guess I gotta choose another way. Every time that I make more money, the IRS will come take that from me. Scared money don't make no money. You know what I'm thinking?
Who's all here with me? Paradox and Arnie? Yeah, probably Paradox. Should I open up one of these guys? One of these Voodoo Rangers? Everyone else died. They're dead. Yeah, Tito? I like myself some scrambled eggs, Tito.
In the kitchen, and it's tasty.
Honey.
We ain't scared of no police, bitch. We got guns too. Don't need no tank, homies hanging out the sunroof. World going crazy as of lately, it ain't nothing new. You know I'ma die for some.
Ever seen what guy, Arnie?
Scared of no police, bitch. We got guns too. Don't need no tank, homies hanging out the sunroof. World going crazy as of lately, it ain't nothing new. You know I'ma die for somebody, tell me what to do. And you know I'm a man, so
Like someone who drinks a lot of beers at once. I've seen the competitor guys who like drink a bunch at once like this. Yeah, I've seen some crap like that, Arnie. Like chugging like 10 beers at once or something.
Trying to tell us where we headed for I ever live in hell. I'ma take your ass to heaven. Yeah, I'ma die by my pride. With a magazine and my blood by my side. They tell you it's land of the free, but you can't go outside. For I lay it down, I'ma ride. We ain't scared of no police, bitch. We got guns too. Don't need no tank, homies hanging out the sunroof. World going crazy as of lately, it ain't nothing new. You know I'ma die for somebody.
Oh, I know about Badlands Chug, yeah.
We got guns too. Don't need no tank, homies hanging out the.
I don't really like Badlands Chugs, or at least the idea of what he is on the internet, because he's this really obese guy that will like chug a whole 2-liter or two 2-liters at once in a chug, and it's like he already has diet problems. He probably shouldn't be doing that. You know, we're kind of just, I don't know. It'd be different if he wasn't somebody that weighed like 500 or 600 pounds, but the fact that he weighs like 500 or 600 pounds, kind of like people are just supporting his channel and liking his videos so that he'll make another video where he kills himself more. So I kind of don't like it that much. It's cool that he's capable of doing it, whatever, but in the end, everybody supporting him and encouraging him to do more stuff and bigger things like that are just encouraging him to kill himself further. And like, I guess it would be the same if somebody was skinny, but the fact that he's that big, it's like, I don't know, I feel like if he ooh. Hey, thank you, Pinky. I appreciate you, big balls. Let me pull that up real quick here. Let me see. Okay. So yeah, thank you, Pinky. I appreciate you, big balls. Let's see. What is this link? (1969) Vietnam meal combat individual C-ration spaghetti vintage MRE review oldest food. Wow, what a big title.
This is the meal combat individual, or a lot of guys just simply dubbed the C ration, in service from
spaghetti with ground meat. Oh God. So it's ground meat that's been in it for like 50 years. That's nasty. Oh.
1959 to 1980 before being replaced by the Meal Ready to Eat, or MRE. This thing had a 21-year service time.
Here, I'm gonna drink another beer for all you guys' support tonight. Thank you guys. Box spaghetti.
Pretty good length for
Well, it's
any
probably in a
military ration.
can.
From 1959
Probably
to
just the cans are in a box
1971,
now. I don't
they
know.
had
I don't know.
cigarettes
We'll
in the
see what it
accessory
looks like.
packets. And we're going to check this one out. This one has cigarettes. So it was made from 1971 or before. We'll find out the year, because a lot of times these cans have lot codes.
There's a
Check out the old
spoon.
school spoon there. And here's the accessory packet. Check that out. Cigarettes, matches, chewing gum, toilet paper, coffee, instant, cream substitute, sugar, salt, and a interdental stimulator. Packaged by Cadillac Products Incorporated.
Dude, this is
Now,
cool. I wish I
I'm
had
not
this.
sure of the year yet, but we're going to find out on one of these cans.
Oh my
boy,
god.
B2 unit that looks to be bulging slightly. Alright, this one here, it's from January 1969. Boy, that was like right at the peak of action during the Vietnam War. So this is definitely a Vietnam War ration, that's for sure. Ooh, look at that black tar. Like, it definitely either is leakage from another can or from this. Oh gosh, spaghetti
Yeah.
with ground meat. It's not even like they tell you what meat. I guess they do. Beef.
Beef.
But why do they say with ground meat? Why not ground beef? Oh, I don't know. It's always that mystery. Packed by Tony Downs Food Company, St. James, Minnesota. Nice. So, listen to that. Ugh, gosh. I don't
Ew.
know. Like, alright, let's see what else is in here. First off, get a good look at the inside of that box. You see, they have it separated with these cardboard parts here, so these cans can have slight protection. There's not much to it. Oh, that's an interesting lock code. Check that out.
Yeah, me
This
too, Remy. I
is
want them
a
to smoke them.
pecan cake roll. I can almost guarantee the nuts are going to be rancid in that bad boy. Yeah, you know, nuts usually don't hold up in a ration. Anywhere past probably 10 to 15 years. So with this ration being about 47 years old, I can almost guarantee this pecan cake roll is no good, because those nuts are going to be rancid. So there you go. Pretty simple looking ration. I mean, this B2 unit probably has a cheese spread in there. I can always tell because of this bulge. I mean, like, the cheese spread's gonna be, like, ghastly at the very least. Well, that's looking pretty good. Let's get that out on a tray. Nice. Alright, so first off, we're gonna bust out that P38 can opener. Check this thing out.
What the
Super
fuck?
handy. Probably
is
already
that?
seen it. What I love about these things is you can always count on them. I've never had a malfunction with a P38. Let's check out that spaghetti for starters. Always open these
stabs it
things
with
from the
that?
bottom, because you know what? You want to wash these cans out and save
Oh,
them. You don't
come
throw
on.
away
What
that
a
history.
dork.
You preserve.
Why doesn't he use a real
Okay,
can
okay, yeah.
opener? Why does he
Poor
use this
bulges and
old
turns
ass
into rust.
style bullshit? That looks like it takes way too much time and effort.
Oh man, I can smell that sauce.
Why not just use
I'm
a can
surprised the
opener?
tomato sauce didn't eat through this can already.
He's just doing it for the video.
man.
Whatever.
Ugh, look at that.
Ew, what is that supposed to be?
It's so acidic and sour. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Hey, look at that. Very little. Check that out. I don't think there's any rust in that can. You don't see that every day. Usually the tomato sauce will eat through the can. Oh, okay, let's just throw that one there. Grab another P38. All right, we're gonna bust into that in a sec. I just want to get this out too. Face this one away.
Ah,
Yeah, there's a reason. Oh man. Oh, what is that? Alright. Let's get to it here. No turning back now.
yeah, let's spend 10 hours opening the can instead of opening it. I sure hope he eats it and fucking chokes. Cheers, you guys.
I can smell cheese. Oh no, what am I getting myself into here?
You should eat
it's
this.
in my room and it's just awful. Oh man, like, oh jeez, look at, oh man. Oh yeah, those crackers. First off, I'll show you the crackers. They're all soft. they're gonna be like, they're dark. Okay, they're not supposed to be that dark, and they're probably gonna be like soggy. Yeah, they feel soggy. Oh man. Why do I do this sometimes? I just wonder. Look at that.
Wow.
Cheese spread type 2. Ugh.
That
Type
is-
1 wasn't bad enough.
That is bulging like a motherfucker.
Why? Look at that. They
Ew.
always burst. I'm telling you, cheese from the 60s just doesn't hold up. Alright. You know what? I feel like I need to wear a mask. Okay, that's way better. You know, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Just gonna get to it. You know, these bulged rims here. It's like really hard to get past that. I'm like 1 millimeter at a time here. This is the nastiest smell. I'm telling you. I smell some things. There's just something about this that takes the cake on gnarly. I wonder what the difference between spread type 2 and spread type 1.
The stupid
Still
can
smell
opener
bad
that he
even with the
uses,
mask. Things
it seems like
do.
there's too much grinding involved. I don't think I'd want to use this
Come on, thing.
in a casual way. There's so
This
much
thing definitely has black
grinding.
mold in it, my guess. Alright. The verdict.
P38.
Yeah, there you go.
P38. How you doing,
I
Troy?
can smell that through the mask. Okay.
Oi. That looks
This is
yummy.
gonna be the death of me one day. Alright. This goes in the trash.
I missed
That's
you,
the last
Troy.
time I open up another cheese spread. My room stinks. And I mean bad. I went and took the mask off. I must be like, you know what? These crackers probably smell
You at
like it.
work? You making lettuce?
Oh man.
For me,
Dude,
so
feel
I
like
can eat
gotta
on my
smoke a
cheese
cigarette just
boigies.
to get the bad smell of the cheese out, and the cigarette doesn't smell good.
My cheese
You know
boigies,
that's bad.
Troy.
All right.
Yes.
Let's open up that pecan cake roll.
Here,
Oh, jeez.
oi.
Oh, let's. Hey, that kind of smells nice. You know, to cover up the smell of cheese spread from 47 years ago that's gone foul long ago, you open up a pecan cake roll with rancid nuts and weird fruity. I can't explain it to cover it up, and then afterwards you burn a 47-year-old cigarette. Oh man.
Yeah, it's like a can opener
rather
you'd
eat an
use
old
if you were in the military, like,
Block, then open up another one of those
although maybe
cheese spreads.
maybe not nowadays, but
That's
back
it.
in the
Unless I open
day.
up outside next time.
It's kind of
Sorry,
neat,
guys.
but it not only does it take too long,
Alright.
but it seems like it would kind of
Now, this
there's
smells
too much
like
grinding
nice,
involved.
pleasant
It would kind of
cinnamon
put
and
stuff in your
rancid nuts.
food.
Which I find to be quite the relief compared to.
Yeah, Troy.
Alright. Come on now. Alright, let's get it out with the spoon. This isn't going to be a 100% smooth extraction, but you know what? Gotta get it out anyway. Come on. Dang. Whoa. Yeah, that wasn't cool. Yeah, I can see the nuts are real dark in there. They're definitely rancid. I could smell it too. There's a specific kind of smell to it. It smells like fruit. It smells like a dark, like raisiny kind of fruit with then like this pungent other thing that's going on that I can't describe at all. Other than it smells like rancid nuts. Yeah, this thing's totally stuck. And I mean, jeez, it like swelled in there. Alright. Oh.
Eat it, eat
Let's
it.
see if this makes a difference. Whoops. It's all
Using-
greasy and stuff.
Oh, he's gonna do the other side.
Hate to do it to the top, but you know, sometimes you have to. Come on, thing.
You ever heard of an actual spoon that's
You know, it's
not
just
made
not
of
coming
plastic?
It's not coming out. It's totally stuck in there. And that's that. It's just not happening.
That's neat.
Just picture this thing out of the can, okay? It's just a little circular roll. I can't get it out of the can. If I were going to eat this thing, if the nuts weren't rancid in it and completely disgusting from probably 20 years ago, I would just eat it with a spoon straight out of there. That's how I'd do it. If it were stuck back then, which I can imagine it wouldn't be stuck if it weren't so swelled and it expanded. All right. Ooh. Bon appetit. Oh.
So I guess that's supposed to be the spaghetti part of
There's
it?
just something about all this that just never ceases to... Oh.
Spaghetti is just turned into mush.
That's a lot of weird looking spaghetti.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just... it's all sorts of food there. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm not going to eat this because it's definitely foul. Okay. Smells sour like this. Oh, yeah. It's totally not edible. Oh, boy. This has been a doozy so far. I'm not going to try and get that pecan cake roll out. I'm sorry. It's completely stuck in there, that pecan cake roll.
Smoke the cigarettes.
Right, this is a pretty nice amount of spaghetti and meat sauce. This is probably one of the better entrees. It sure beats ham and lima beans or turkey loaf. From what I've heard and talked to guys, those were your worst. Now, anybody in the comments, if you want to tell anybody who's curious of what ham and lima beans was dubbed, yeah, ham and something else. All right, this is getting out of here. Then we're gonna check out the accessories.
Yeah, cigarettes.
All right, this is the only part I can imagine still gonna be good from this thing. There's no way I was gonna try a pecan cake roll. The rancidity on that was just past any sort of safe point. I'm telling you, it'll swell your tongue to where you literally, like, you lift your tongue up, it will squirt saliva like a spitting cobra. Been there, done that, not doing it again. It'll make you sick. All right, let's check this out. Ah, smells like mint and hydrogenated oils. I love it. And you got Marlboros. Oh yeah, old school Marlboros.
Wow.
Cream substitute.
Dude, that pack of cigarettes is probably worth so much money, I would think.
Oils. I love it. And you got Marlboros.
It's like a special kind of skinny edition Marlboro pack from, what, 1969? Still packaged. That's it. Like, yeah, it's a 6-pack, dude. That, like, I would imagine that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Old school Marlboros. Cream substitute.
Is that what it is? A 6-pack? That's so neat.
Still feels fine. Coffee instant, perfectly good. Sugar, looking good. Salt.
You should make some coffee.
Alright, let's go down the line here. Look at the old school toilet paper. I honestly say this is far superior to your modern toilet paper because, okay, I'll show you. You don't have to, like, unravel every leaflet of it. It's like, see, it's so much easier to use out in the field. It was, and it smells like mint, and I love it. It just, because of the gum in there, yeah, nice. Matches, back when they were so good you could just lightly glide them on the striker, and they did their thing. Chiclets. Oh yeah, and those chiclets are going to be really good, I just know it.
Is that gum?
And here's the cool one. Stimudents. Interdental stimulator. Clean teeth immediately after eating. Directions. Moisten in mouth. Thorough. Use pointed end to clean gently between the teeth with flat side next to gum. Sorry, it's a little hard to read. Chew blunt end to separate fibers, then use to brush teeth. Made in the USA. Nice. Super nice. Actually, let's just check that out right now because it's so cool. Okay. So, Stimudent, eh? You know what? I'm just gonna... Oh, heck. Just get in there. Got a few of these. No biggie. Whoops. Anyway. Check this out. Look at those weird little things. They should still have these, I believe. I mean, even though most guys had their toothbrush anyway. Chew the blunt end. And nice. Oh, wow. It works. Yeah, you just, I mean, it's not like fraying outward like a toothbrush, but it would take you probably 5 minutes to brush your teeth, but you, oh wow, there's mint. Well, that's nice. This other one, it's just like balsa wood or something. It's a nice, like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. On this side, you could use as a toothpick. Oh yeah, does the trick. Right on. Well, that looks nice. All right, let's make a little coffee, shall we? I don't know if it's actually 8 ounces here. It might be a little less. Third of a canteen.
Ooh, he's actually gonna make the coffee. Okay, cool.
I can tell now just by the way the text is laid out. That's always fun. Let's check this out. Old school coffee instant. How about some creamer? Smooth it out a little. Yeah, that's perfect. I love when creamer lasts indefinitely. There's a little bit of a tinge to it, the smell. Well, nothing some sugar can't take care of. Yeah. Looking nice and light with a clump of some creamer in the mix. That's always a class act. Not bad. Oh yeah. That's better than Taster's Choice. Let's enjoy a cigarette.
He's gonna open it up and smoke the cigarette. Wow. I wonder if cigarettes back then were safer or more dangerous than now. I would think there's a good difference with how they propagate them.
Odor to it. Alright, let's turn it over. Alright. You know, the draw. I mean, it's actually, you got some of that spearmint flavor on the draw. I haven't had a sea ration Marlboro in like a year. Like,
Well, it was probably only a 6-pack for this special ration pack that he's got. It's meant to have a little bit, just like a small amount of stuff, so it makes sense that it would be a small pack of cigarettes, but it's really unique because I've never heard of a 6-pack cigarette. Is that what it was? Six cigarettes in the pack? That's very unique. Ugh.
oh yeah. Oh man. Nice and smooth. Oh yeah, thanks G Schultz for the
Yeah, I wouldn't have opened it either. I would have either collected it or tried to sell it.
He gave me 2 meal kit supply MREs and this Big Trouble Little China shirt.
It's an extremely cool thing, I think.
That's a nice hard hitter too, even with the filter. I'm not sure what year they started putting filters on these cigarettes, but check this out, right? These came out of a food packet, a salt. Bought them from a lady. Look at that. These will be coming up sometime. Oh yeah, look at that kid. Chesterfields. We already know those are good.
Dude, that's cool. All these old things.
Got some more Camels.
Camel, like 6-pack or something. I guess maybe 6-packs or small packs like that were more popular back in the day.
For the Chesterfield. I didn't say that, but it has that Marlboro trademark to it, and it's very smooth. With some smooth coffee. If it's not your thing back in the day, you could trade it up for some peaches or a pound cake. That's always nice. It's one thing you can count on with an old MCI. It's the smokes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but when I do, they're at least 45 years old. So check and conclude it.
Is that gum?
Little bits of plastic. Oh yeah. Watch this, right? Not hard, not brutally. That's a good one. Freshen up that palate after having a nice cup of coffee and a smoke. Have some chewing gum, maybe later. Brush your teeth. Alright, that's the Meal Combat Individual spaghetti with ground meat with a B2 unit with a deathly cheese in it. This is Steve 1989 off MREinfo.com. Hope you liked the video. I'll be coming back at you with something old. Alright. Or new. Cool. See ya.
Well, that was neat. Cheers, you guys. Oh yeah, Paradox. See, Paradox gets it.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike with Alpha Reptile back with another video today, and today we are with our good friends Jungle Jewel Exotics, and today we are going to be showing you guys all the changes that they've made to their room. There has been a number of them. There's been a ton of new frogs, and just a lot of development going on. So that's the goal for today. We're going to give you a tour of Jungle Jewel Exotics. It's going to be a whole bunch of awesome footage for you guys, feeding. And Lucas was even kind enough to give some insight on how they build their tanks. So we'll dig into it later in the video.
So we've changed a few things since the last time you were here. We've added a couple more racks and made it a little bit more flow through, a little more breezy to...
Are you asking me, Tito? Oh, never mind. Paradox and you were talking.
to be able to see all our frogs. Let's check out some of these tanks. So here we have our latest additions. This is where we're going to keep our Alphaga and some of the Tinctura species. And then we have a dozen more tanks that we're going to be adding some more of our holdbacks and introduce more quantity of breeders. And into this row we have 3 different layers of types of frogs. We have some Tinctura species, large Alphaga species, and our latest, the Antilopus.
Now that you have a vague idea of what's going on in their frog room and all the new species that they got in, let's go feed a whole bunch of frogs and then
Who
dig
are
into
you
the
guys?
cage build and a couple other little goodies. And we're starting off the feeding strong with these gorgeous Dendrobates auratus blue and black. These guys make for a great beginner dart frog, along with many of the other locales and species that you'll see at the beginning of this feeding portion. One of the best starters out there, although they are typically known to be quite shy. For some reason, a lot of the auratus, even these Colombian yellows, tend to be more bold at Jungle Jewel. Not sure why, but that is the case. And continuing down Auratus Alley, we have the reticulated Auratus. These guys are one that I...
Should I open up another beer, guys? My girlish figure, Tito. You're silly. You silly. Hold on 1 second, guys. I just realized the goal is at 69.69. Hold on a second, guys. I have to do
That
something.
I don't think I've actually seen in person before. These guys are actually fairly new to Jungle Jewel, and I'm pretty sure they only have like 3 males currently, so they need some females to get some breeding action going. And now we can go on to the beautiful Dendrobates auratus Super Blue. These guys just kind of highlight the diversity of colors in the auratus and really all dart frogs. This guy is pretty striking. And lastly with the auratus, we are ending it off with a bang with the Kahlua and Cream auratus, or the Campana. These guys are one of the shyer ones that Jungle Jewel has, but again, they're actually out pretty frequently. They are certainly very unique coloration because of their, as described in the common name, Kahlua and Cream coloration. Definitely differentiates itself from the rest of most dart frogs. Now with another flavor of beautiful dart frog, these are Dendrobates leucomelas, otherwise known as the bumblebee dart frogs. These guys are an incredible species that come in a few different locales, phenotypes, different looks, I guess. These guys are the banded lukes, and the next ones you're about to see right now are just standard lukes. These guys are even more shy for Jungle Jewel than the auratus, which is not typically the case, but hey, I guess everybody's mileage may vary. These guys still make for one of the best dart frogs as beginners, and they also have a beautiful call, which differentiates them from the rest of the dart frogs, which are typically recommended for beginners. Now moving on to the third of the top 3 beginner dart frogs that you guys can typically start off with, if you guys are watching this video for that kind of information. These are the beautiful Dendrobates tinctorius. These ones in particular are green Sapolowini. These are one of my favorite locales of the tinctorius, and unfortunately I didn't actually film too many of these guys eating. While they are still very bold eaters, I don't want to fall out of relevancy for YouTube, so I actually ended up filming most of it in vertical format in order to make a couple short videos for you guys, so stay tuned to the channel for that. And in the meantime, we'll continue watching the ones that I did end up filming. Starting with one of my favorite locales, these are the Dendrobates tinctorius yellowback, and it's really hard to get the true color of their back on video. It is a very like soft, creamy yellow type color. In this footage, it just looks completely white, but I promise you in person, they are one of the most stunning frogs. Absolute jet black body with cool white spots on their legs and on their abdomen, and that beautiful yellow back / head. Really, honestly, one of my favorite tinctorius. Now going from one of my favorite to one of the largest locales of tinctorius, these are the Dendrobates tinctorius lafume. These guys are massive. These guys aren't necessarily one of my favorites. Everybody has their own taste as what they like in a frog. The distribution of the yellow and black is not quite as striking as I would like it to be, especially for dart frogs, but in general, these guys are the same care, very hardy, and like I said, get absolutely massive. And what would a frog room tour be without one of the most quintessential dart frogs in the hobby? Dendrobates azurius. The beautiful blues on these guys are incredible. I truly wish we did have some fine spot azurius in Canada because they have pretty much an entirely baby blue back. I want to say a quick thank you to Mr. Goldberg, Troy Goldberg himself, for sending me these photos. Much appreciated, dude. These guys are one of the most classic dart frogs in the hobby, and one of the best beginners as well. So that is good to know if you're kind of new to dart frogs and checking out this video. I think now is a good time to drop the whole feeding act of this video and move on to some show and tell, starting with this gorgeous Oophaga sylvatica paru. These guys are pretty uncommon in Canada, although there was just an import and Jungle Jewel ended up getting the majority of that import. Honestly, this one in particular though really takes the cake for the nicest one that they have. I know I got some toady people in this audience, so I gotta share the harlequin toads or the stubfoot toads, whatever you want to call them. This is Atelopus elegans. These guys are native to tropical rainforests in northwest Ecuador, typically found near streams where they do all of their mating and their courtship and all their big song and dance. And right next to those guys, we also have the purple harlequin toad, otherwise known as Atelopus barbottini. These guys are endemic to French Guiana, typically found on mossy logs, rocks, that kind of deal near creeks and rivers. These guys are very dependent on moving water. Typically they are found near that moving water, which includes like creeks and streams and even sometimes larger rivers. So both of these toad species are not something you typically see, especially in Canada. Jungle Jewel is one of a handful of people that have both of these species, and thankfully they have actually gotten eggs from both species. While they have not been successful on raising those eggs, they have got them, and that is the first step. Hopefully next time I visit, they'll have some toadlets to share.
Sounds so broken.
That was the feeble calls of this beautiful Ufaga Pumilio El Dorado. Really trying his best to make some calls, but it just wasn't quite working out for him that time, I guess. But it did work out for me that I was finally able to film these Amirga Silverstoni. These guys are incredibly rare in the hobby, and they are typically quite challenging to film, but this time was finally the time that I managed to do so. Enjoy.
So a question we get asked often is, how do we build our tanks? Start by building our background.
They follow the background rule where you silicone in your wood and then foam around it. After the foam has been cured and carved, they then layer on silicone and add their background mix to it.
Let that dry and cure. If I want to build a pond, I'll start by siliconing in some rocks to give myself that pond look, and then I'll start layering in some leca, and that's going to act as my drainage layer. In the front, I'll use a river rock or aquarium gravel to build a facade, a couple inches thick, so that, once it's completely built, it looks like the edge of a stream. And then from there, I'm gonna add on my soil, and now we're gonna add the plants as well. So now we've completed the build. This is day one of the tank. So the plants are in it. They're starting to grow their roots. If we fast forward a couple months, this is what the tank looks like now.
You know how at the beginning I mentioned that there is some goodies? Well, this is it. You can see the female Diablo sitting in her tadpole, and she ended up laying a good clutch of eggs. It's seemingly the first good clutch of eggs that Jungle Jewel has gotten from her or the Paru, but man, what a rewarding and special experience to share with my good friends. Alright you guys, and that does it for the room tour at Jungle Jewel Exotics. Maybe next time I'm here, we'll do like a tank by tank video. That would be a very long, lengthy video. I think people would like to see the different tanks and whatnot that you guys have in the room and know a bit about the frogs that are inside them. So, truthfully though, I really do want to know what you guys want to see next time I visit Jungle Jewel. Do you want more in-depth species tips? Do you want more footage of like the toads, of the nocturnal frogs, like the glass frogs? Let me know what you want to see in the comments.
Y'all look gay. I see you guys joined my other Discord. That's cool. That's just the SHABISKY Discord. I don't really do that much with that one. That's why I don't really invite people to it. But you're part of it. Oh my god.
Comments down below. It will truly help me out, and I'll make sure I bring a notepad.
Yeah, owning dart frogs is gonna be a big obligation to take on, But it's something that I've always wanted to do, is have something like that.
This is Pandora, my 1,000-gallon cloud rainforest vivarium. It took a week to build, months of pre-planning, and...
Guys, should I open up this next beer? Here. I guess I'm going to open up this next beer for us doing so good on the goal. If you guys can, please help me get a little bit further on the goal. I'm probably going to end this stream after this beer, or maybe one more after this.
And a lifetime to dream about. And my, what a biological dream it is. I created it to study what life is like for ants and other animals out in the wild, to uncover their roles within an ecosystem. And so far, it's been an insane ride of discovery that has...
See, I have a weird fascination with nature and stuff, and if I just had lots of money and stuff, I would have a terrarium like this. But I would also really like to have a terrarium like this that's like part water. So like maybe half land, half water, or maybe like 40% water of the terrarium area. And you could have a little waterfall and stuff. You could have fish in there and everything. I'd really like to have a really well-balanced terrarium that's water and land, and has different things that live on water and land that live off of each other and so forth.
Months of pre-planning and a lifetime to dream about. And my, what a biological dream it is. I created it to study what life is like for ants and other animals out in the wild, to uncover their roles within an ecosystem. And so far, it's been an insane ride of discovery that has only just begun. Last week marked the dawn of an event called Gaia, the Great Animal Integration Advent, where I added an initial team of animals and creatures into Pandora, who proceeded to settle into the forest, breed, and occupy their respective niches. But that team of creatures was only the first batch of colonizers.
Get yourself one of these.
Thank you, Pinky. I appreciate you supporting the channel, Big Balls. Let me see. Is this some sort of terrarium or something? What did you send me? Is it an animal? Oh God, you're so silly.
The weakness of my flesh. It disgusted me. I craved the strength and certainty of steel. I aspired to the purity of the blessed machine. Your kind cling to your flesh, as if it will not decay and fail you. One day the crude biomass that you call the temple will wither, and you will beg my kind to save you. But I am already saved. For the machine is immortal.
What is this? I think that in the snake's mind, it's seeing itself move. Like, I think that they have it set up to where the snake does some sort of certain movement with its body, and it causes it to do this action, and that moves it forward. And I think because of that, it's what's the what kind of words can I use to say it? It's relearning how to walk in this situation. We're watching it, I'm pretty sure, by control, choose for it to move forward. And you can see it kind of bend its neck and looking around and looking at things like it would never do naturally while it's moving forward. So it's interesting because the snake's learning to be different than it naturally really is. And I mean, that's not really something that's that crazy. I mean, look at us humans driving cars and shit like that. We do plenty of things that are unnatural. But the snake is like, yeah, it's interesting. The snake's kind of like, it seems that it's relearning how to walk with this new snake walking outfit thing that they created.
I aspired to the
What's the difference between a legless lizard and a snake? I honestly can't remember, Tito. I think that the legless lizard still has something like some sort of legs. I don't know. I remember learning about them. Let's look. It's been a while since I've...
This animal looks like a snake, but it's called a slow worm. And it's no more a snake than it is a worm. It's a legless lizard. All snakes evolve from lizards. But there are a few traits that stand them apart, even from their look-alike armless cousins. Though both animals move in their S-shaped slithery way, legless lizards must push the sides of their bellies against rough ground to move. They don't have the traction from belly scales like a snake has. It means they struggle to move over totally flat surfaces. The lizards are also limited by prey size. Snakes have famously expandable jaws to engulf large prey. The lizards can only eat snacks that fit in their mouths.
That's so
And
weird.
snakes
Legless
have delicate
lizards,
forked
man.
tongues, a trait they share with some of their ancestral lizards, like monitor lizards. But legless lizards have fleshy tongues because they evolved from different lizard ancestors. Legless lizards have eyelids and ears, while true snakes have neither. The two groups follow similar lines of evolution, but from different starting points, and so they're only distantly related. Yet all snakes share a lizard ancestry, and some species like pythons and boas still have stubs where their back legs would have been, the last reminders of their four-legged ancestors.
That's interesting that they evolved, like, to not have legs. A giraffe fight? I know that they do neck. They hit each other with their necks. I know about that, baby boo. Can I call you baby boo? Okay, baby boo. Wait, no, I was talking to Pinky about the baby boo thing.
This is Samson, my giant African bullfrog.
Cheers!
He likes to relax in water, dig in the dirt, eat anything that moves, and more recently, act like a total menace, forcing me to make a completely new and much larger 6-foot paludarium, which is almost as long as I am tall because the other could no longer contain him, and that's not because he outgrew it. Now when I say he's large, it's not hyperbole. He's literally a giant among frogs, and will likely grow to around 10 inches long. He's currently 8 inches from here to rear, weighing in at a whopping 33 ounces. But don't let his rotund appearance fool you, he's built different. ABFs are just as agile as any other species and made for battle. In the wild, the large males clash for breeding rights, and the competition is fierce. In other words, they're as indestructible as a frog could possibly be, which is precisely why Samson simultaneously created a major problem and survived a potentially life-threatening scenario. Allow me to explain. Last year I remade his entire home because the aquarium leaked. The revision looked great and included features I thought would improve his quality of life, including a dripping branch overhang to support plants and provide refuge within the water feature. However, this ended up being a terrible decision. What was intended to, and initially appeared to be a place of tranquility, must have become an annoyance. He decided to exit the building. I was disturbed to find him sitting on the floor one day, but thankfully he wasn't injured from such a fall. This all happened shortly after the build. I dampened the drips and added clamps to prevent it from happening again, and everything seemed fine until recently when I did a water change. I must not have properly dialed the drips, and apparently the clamps couldn't contain him this whole time because I found him on the floor once again. Luckily he's been calm since, but I can't take any more chances because next time he might not be so lucky. There won't be a next time though. That's because I decided to build him a new home already for a completely different reason. He's almost too big to fit through this gap, which isn't ideal for him or me. The solution was simple: create a front opening enclosure to eliminate this issue for good. Luckily, it had already been in the works for months, but his recent antics motivated me to finish it sooner than later. From the start, my plan was to make something within the same footprint as a standard 125-gallon long aquarium. He currently lives in a 75-gallon, which is actually the same width. He moves in this space well, but I knew that having extra length and height would allow for better versions of the features he already enjoys. Well, all the features except for the drip overhang and a removable lid. Naturally, they don't make tanks like this, so I took matters into my own hands and built one myself. I got 1/2 inch thick glass rough cut at a local glazer and had to do some prep work before assembling the pieces. It's rare that I had frames.
Seems
to
like
these
it's
custom
pretty easy,
tanks,
Remy,
but I thought
honestly.
it was best for this one because of how
But
he
it seems
broke
like he's
his
doing a
lid.
good job, too.
I'd have to add screens again, and with the front opening system, I could just attach them directly to the frame. Having tamper-proof filtration with these large frogs is a must, so I always drill for bulkheads to avoid any mischief. I wouldn't add the glass tracks or lid till much later.
Yeah, I've
With the
never done
canvas
it
set, my
myself,
goal
for
now is to
sure.
create a landscape reminiscent of the African bullfrog's native range in southern Africa. When they're not hibernating in the dry season, they often reside near ephemeral water holes similar to this. With this in mind, I'd say his previous setups were designed well around his needs, but they were far from an accurate representation of where he'd actually live. Part of that, and what I've done before, is provide a land area large enough for burrowing. With this new footprint, I had the opportunity to make features like that much larger. To make it, I'd need some glass, and where better to obtain it than a retired paludarium. Salvaging materials like this is more work, but it helps keep costs down and is a great way to repurpose things. However, just getting glass wasn't enough. The front was already the right size, so I used it as a guide to adjust the height of the others. When recombined later, these panes will create a land area of roughly 12 gallons. Before that, I had work to do on the back.
To me, working with glass like that, I don't like the idea of it. Like, what he just did there,
of the others.
He cuts it, he breaks it, and then he sands it. And to me, that means that there's tiny little pieces of glass all around him, and that end up getting breathed in by him.
When recombined later,
tiny
these panes
little
will create
pieces
a land
of
area
glass.
of roughly 12 gallons. Before that, I had work to do on the background, which will utilize new techniques. That said, it began like many others. I used the tank's measurements to cut down sheets of XPS foam for a base layer. Of course, I also accounted for the bulkheads. Creating side panels is more work, but they help these projects.
No. Remy, you don't understand what he did there?
Of the others.
He cut the glass, and to be honest, he probably cut it multiple times, maybe. And then he does that. So he's using a blade right here to cut the glass. to make a mark in it to make it easy to break in the specific line. Your mom did that? Yeah, Pinky. To me, working with glass like that, at least in this way, it's a very scary thing. I don't know. I'm very obsessed with small things happening like that. Like, I constantly wash my hands and stuff, and I would be really... I don't know. The idea of little pieces of glass existing. Yeah, he scores the glass, then he snaps it. Yeah.
When recombined later, these panes will create a land area of roughly 12
Then he smooths it
gallons.
out.
Before that, I had work to do on the background, which will utilize new techniques. That said, it began like many others. I used the tank's measurements to cut down sheets of XPS foam for a base layer. Of course, I also accounted for the bulkheads. Creating side panels is more work, but they help these projects appear far more immersive, so I had to do that here. The foam didn't require much silicone either. A few dabs were more than enough to lock them in. Adding the land feature was simple too. I adhered bumpers to the edges and assembled it like any other aquarium. The silicone had to cure before I could do a water test. I've had issues with Sam's land area leaking in the past, so this was an essential step. Catching leaks early is always best, and luckily that wasn't an issue here. The background required more structure before I could continue, and the beauty of this technique is that it can be made largely with scraps, which I always keep. Creating a gradual transition into the land area would help facilitate the appearance of a watering hole and make the setup functional for Sam. Simply making the rough shape of stairs would be sufficient for this particular setup, with no additional carving necessary. All of these had to be secured to the glass and each other as well. Although Sam hated the dripping feature, he does appreciate it.
Oh yeah, Remy, I wish I knew.
built up more
I
foam
was
to provide
educated
more.
enough
After all, this is
about
something
this
that would naturally
subject.
exist at a
I
watering
really
hole,
dedicated
and the plan was to
myself
make it look similar to this.
enough to this.
I could have
to this.
continued building the structure with foam scraps, but I knew expanding foam remains as light as possible.
Carving something which looks great until you add grout, paint, or some combination of the two. The details end up getting muddied, resulting in an artificial look. I've been using techniques like these for decades, and although they've served me well till now, I'd like to largely retire them moving forward. I was really inspired about a year ago whenever I was watching Reels, and I saw some random guy carving a faux rock panel. It wasn't for animals, but I knew it was a potential solution to the foaming process I've become disenfranchised with. Since then, I've been doing research and experimenting in my spare time with grouts, concretes, and other materials to find an ideal solution. The primary issue with concrete is its weight. As you can imagine, it's quite heavy, and whenever you're making a giant background in these big setups, some of which I haven't shown you yet, it's going to get really heavy, and so it's not going to fly if we're just using standard concrete. Now there are ways to make it lighter, which I explored, but none of those solutions seemed viable. As I explored my options and did research, I came across this incredible product, the Buddy Rhodes Vertical Concrete Mix. This is literally what is being used to create large zoo displays both in and around enclosures. It's non-toxic, eco-friendly, lightweight, strong, carvable, and fairly inexpensive. I'll give a full cost breakdown later on, but as you can imagine, whenever I discovered this, I was extremely excited.
For it to work as intended, it must be mixed with ramp primer and water. I measured each and combined them in a bucket. This concrete is also easy to color with pigments, and since I'm attempting to replicate dirt, a light brown seemed like the obvious choice. I mixed this into the liquids before blending in the concrete. For proper adhesion to the foam...
You ever mixed concrete before?
Mix of 50-50 ramp and water had to be sprayed on.
You have once?
Once tacky, I simply slapped the concrete in place.
Oh, every day, Tito? Yeah?
It honestly was a lot of fun.
We all have
It
our
took me
different
back to playing
jobs.
with mud when I was young. Anyway, as I covered the foam and built the structure, I considered the environment I wished to recreate and how I'd carve it out to achieve that appearance, knowing that most of this would be removed. I let it firm up for about 15 minutes before carving. It was still wet, but kind of crumbly. Such a consistency made it extremely easy to create the look of a muddy embankment. I gotta say that carving this is way easier than foam, and the texture is pretty believable. However, as with other projects, the finer details pull a lot of weight. I embedded a few small roots and rocks in the overhang, which helped significantly. All of this carving resulted in a lot of scraps, which
Oh,
unlike
he's not
foam,
done
can be
yet,
reused
Tubby.
while they're still wet. I just mixed in some
Is
more
that
water,
basic?
and it was enough to fill the rest of the scape. What little remained I pressed into the roots for added effect. With only one bag, the appearance was strong. However, I felt the right side was a little flat, so I mixed up a second bag to add further definition. I figured driftwood could help with that as well. Once cured, the structure itself was dynamic, but now the color appeared flat. Luckily, concrete glazes can address that, but not in the same way as paint. They'll stain and recolor the surface without removing any detail. Umber accents over the entirety of the sculpture helped it appear warmer. A feature you'll notice with watering holes is that the mud is always darker around the water. I mixed up black and umber and diluted it with water to replicate this. I later scuffed the surface with a wire brush to add highlights.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the term aquascaping, Remy?
Some cleanup work was required as well, but that's to be expected. I was glad to see the scape come together, but the enclosure wasn't complete.
Have you?
Reaching to
Okay.
the top of Sam's current tank isn't just an issue because of his size. It's also kind of sketchy because of poor access. All I'll say is that I've been bitten by him twice because of it, and it's no fun. While taking a step back to review everything, I couldn't help but feel like something was missing. The branch on the right looked out of place, but I couldn't undo it. I combined it with other pieces to mimic the appearance of a stump in eroding soil. I took as many liberties as possible with the scape, and it turned out well despite not being as detailed as I'd prefer. With Sam, there's a fine line between form and function. Inevitably, the details have to be an afterthought because he has to be able to traverse through the space without destroying it. Anyway, I like to clean these backgrounds before adding the finishing touches so nothing from construction remains. It seems that the plant these frogs encounter most in the wild is grass,
I think his
so that's what I wanted
turtle
for this build.
or his frog is called
I've
Sam,
tried
maybe?
going bioactive with him before, but it's pointless. Because of his size and habits, it inevitably gets gross and needs to be replaced. Instead, I just use plain old coconut fiber. I want the grass in this area, but they do better with a different substrate. To get around this, I mixed up a different blend and placed them in permeable plant bags. This gave me the best of both worlds. The substrate can be easily replaced with minimal disruption to the plants. I may add more later, but for now, less is more. He needs adequate room to dig and crawl around. Unfortunately, the cocoa fiber and sand kind of exposed the fact that I didn't make the concrete brown enough. I suppose some mistakes should have been expected though, because this was my first time trying this in a full-blown build. Here's a quick breakdown of how much it cost me to make this background, excluding tools, tax, and shipping. Keep in mind that I made my background largely out of scrap materials. I put the rough cost of foam in here just...
Alright.
This is Pistachio. She's a cane toad, the most hated amphibian in the world.
You can see hundreds, if not thousands of
invasive toxic cane toads are
prompting some councils
to wage a war on public enemy.
Should I call it a? Should I end this stream, guys, and run away and never come back?
These enormous toads are infamous for their negative impact on the environment, which has led to widespread eradication efforts. Ironically, they can make excellent pets, and Pistachio, who was once an alien in Florida that would have caused havoc or been disposed of, was given a second chance at life. Since she cannot return to the wild, I've done my very best to recreate her natural jungle habitat within a spacious 6-foot vivarium.
Would it be possible for us to get another tip coming through us? For me to drink this last beer here? Hell yeah, Paradox.
Sensational headlines paint these toads as demons, but despite the issues they cause, they don't mean any harm and didn't ask for this. They're simply living, which isn't an issue in South and Central America where they originate, because predators adapted to their poison keep their populations in check. The issue is in other parts of the world where they were introduced 100 years ago as pest control for sugar farms. Since then, they've decimated native fauna and poisoned animals that tried to eat them. A small measure that...
Am I gonna open up this next beer, guys?
helps mitigate these happenings is for them to be kept responsibly as pets, especially in places they can't naturalize. Pistachio has been a Pennsylvania girl under my care for over 2 years now. Since she's from the wild, getting her used to my presence hasn't been as easy as most of my other animals who are captive bred. There's been some progress, but I know moving her into a proper setup will change everything. I've worked with many animals over the years, and it's always apparent when they're comfortable with me. This is essential because I want them to understand I don't mean any harm, and I'm simply part of their environment. All that's to say,
you don't know that, Paradox. Help me out with the goal, Paradox.
Enclosures, like the one I'm about to build, which allow for the broadest range of behaviors and not necessarily more human exposure. Pistachio is a wild animal in the subtropics of Florida, so she's never actually seen her natural environment. That's what I wanted to replicate, but finding any documentation of these toads where they actually belong is really challenging. However, I know they live in the Amazon basin and other areas in Central America, so that's the environment I decided to mimic. These toads like to soak in water.
You better not open that bear, boy. Just jerk it to these boobies and go to bed. Sorry I ruined your cool goal number.
You're so silly. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna open up this beer in the name of Satan.
Which is no surprise considering where they originate.
Thank you.
Including a proper water feature made sense, because constantly cleaning out a water bowl like I have been doing for years is annoying and wouldn't look as good.
I have an idea. I've had this idea for years where I build a little area in my yard or right next to my house and then put lizards in them like the Mediterranean house geckos and let them just breed in there and stuff. And I feel like it would be neato.
Cane toads are the largest toads in the world, with females attaining a length of up to 12 inches. Pistachio here has a lot of growing left to do, but even at this adolescent size, she's much larger than most of the toads native to North America, which partly explains why they're so detrimental.
I'm usually not a fan of just putting a divider in the tank. They tend to look sloppy from the front, but it was the best solution here. Anyway, she'll spend much of her time being active on the land, so I kept it large. To be honest, I've never had a DIY aquarium leak, and I've built many of them, so I rarely do a water test. However, the same hasn't been true for partitions. The issue has been that glass squeezes out most of the silicone, causing the seam to fail. Since adding bumpers, which I did here, I haven't had any problems, but doing a test for good measure never hurts. Using scrap materials is kind of the theme here. The partition was salvaged from an old tank, and I've been accumulating foam scraps that I've slowly made use of. Building a foundation from these was challenging because I didn't want a massive foam and the pieces weren't ideal. Instead, I created boxes and angular shapes to build a rough configuration on the glass. Perfection wasn't the goal, but what I wished to make was the foundation for a rocky face, complete with a running waterfall. I used this image as a reference. Having hollow rocks ensured the structure would remain lightweight and made running the filter's return simple. All the meticulous work paid off, but this was only a dry fit. I crossed my fingers and hoped to get it looking this good again the second time while adhering them with silicone.
I've never done this kind of stuff.
Feature, but I wanted them to appear as though they're surrounded by dirt and roots to simulate the jungle aesthetic. Believe it or not, this sloppy looking foam thing is the perfect foundation for precisely that. I recently began using vertical concrete to craft backgrounds. I hadn't done anything this complicated because I was still getting used to the materials. I knew more work would be involved and there was a higher risk of failure, but I was ready for this challenge. That said, even this background was more straightforward than others I have planned. Anyway, I had to work in steps to make this happen, beginning with the rocks. The default color was perfect for this application, so I just mixed it up and got to work.
You know, like, we were talking a minute ago, or like, whatever, about like mixing concrete, and someone in the chat was like, yeah, I do that every day, or whatever. I don't know who that was, but you know what's one thing I really hate about guys? Is this toxic masculinity kind of bullshit where they think that like doing something like moving bricks or smashing stone or something or making concrete, that's a manly job. You're a little bitch if you ain't do that and stuff. And it's like, dude, I spend most of my time being a YouTuber, but I also do those things on the side and it's not really anything. I've built fucking sheds and stuff like that. It's not really, like, I feel like the people that are very, like, I don't know, they're very focused on trying to use that to show how tough they are and stuff. I feel like they're not really tough. You know what I'm saying?
I was careful to arrange the foam as I did based on the reference image, but I had to be even more
Tito.
More mindful of how I built up concrete. I'd be carving it in no time, so I had to imagine how it would appear with missing material, water flowing over it, and covered with plants. That's the artistry behind nature design and a skill I've developed over time. Visualizing the final result before starting helps set me in the right direction. Admittedly, they never turn out as expected because I adjust the designs as they unfold, but having a vision makes all the difference. Using inspiration helps too, in this case an image. However, I find that trying to replicate things exactly takes out the fun. The freeform approach allows me to get in a flow state, which keeps me motivated throughout the tedious tasks. What I love about this technique though is the carving process. This material lends itself well to the types of texture you imagine in nature, like wood, stone, and mud. With a simple trowel, the outer layers slump off and just kind of reveal the desired textures. I'm not sure how else to explain it. I've made foam rocks and used natural stones to create waterfalls, but simply carving it out of this was just so satisfying in comparison. I think that's because I had complete control over the material. Even so, this process is very time-consuming.
Dude, this looks like you did a really good job.
Because
it's like the water comes out of this spot, flows down here. Oh my god, that's so nice.
Took well over 8 hours to carve.
Yes, Paradox, as long as I should
I
drink
know I'll be
this
able
last
to create
beer.
better sculptures as I develop this skill, but even now I love
Do you
the
love me,
results.
Paradox?
The textures were great, but staining the surface with glazes to add color would make all the difference. With various hues at my disposal, I was able to accentuate the details and make the surface appear weathered.
Honestly, I don't think I'm
Rocks
going
are
to be
never a
going much
solid
longer,
color. They're
Paradox.
stained, contain mineral deposits, and have other features which cause variations. Adjusting the colors and adding details like faux iron deposits are what I feel truly make this appear genuine. Applying these wets the surface, so the actual coloration wasn't showing, but I knew what I applied and where. I just had to trust the process. As a final measure, I scuffed the surface to create highlights. When I think of the jungle, I always imagine some type of wood, whether trees, fallen branches, or roots. The space on the right was perfect for a root ball structure or something of that nature. So when I mixed up the second batch of concrete, I added a brown pigment. Forming this around everything I've added thus far brought it together in a big way. You know I'm a man about the details and had to add little roots throughout. Seeing how these looked alongside the other elements as the dirt texture emerged was incredible. However, something was off when it dried because it was almost purple. That was the same issue I had in my African bullfrog's recent paludarium build, which uses many of the same techniques. I'll link that up in the description if you want to see what I did there. Anyway, I thought the rust coloration, which used a glaze I didn't have before, could help with this. Definitely good input from Steven and Gar, who recommended adding red last time the dirt was off, because that's what I did here, and it worked well. I go into all of these builds a little differently based on the animals. This would be a jungle vivarium, so false bottom was required. However, Pistachio digs, so it had to be one she couldn't disturb, and it had to be drainable. Sometimes I drill through the tank, but I thought a standpipe was a better option. Details like this can be easily overlooked, but make these setups run better and easier in the long run. Ideally, I want to intervene and tamper with this as little as possible. I do nearly everything alone here and have to improvise when making these big tanks. Covering the sides of the tank was a bit of an afterthought, but it needed done and there was no time to waste. Regardless of what I do, I always like to clean these backgrounds before adding life. That gave me a quick preview of the waterfalls, which I enjoyed, but I had to stay focused.
Yeah, Remy, I'm obsessed with this kind of stuff. Cool guy.
I still had to make the false bottom tamper-proof, and the ideal material for that was Matala mat. I'm sad to see them go, because these are all that remain from the original DIY pond I built 5 years ago. Anyway, the panels fit tightly in this space, so it all just kinda worked as is. I just had to fill a small void in the front, and foam around the standpipe. A DIY technique that's been invaluable for me over the years is making screens. They're literally just window screens made to the specifications.
Remy, do you want to be my roommate and me and you can do this all the time?
It's easier to stretch, but it doesn't hold up as
You
well
can be
as
my
a room,
roommate
so I've switched
and we
to that.
could do this.
Either
We
way,
could
the
have a
process is
nature
pretty
room.
straightforward. However, I had to trim off some of the driftwood before they could be installed. Proper substrate is always an essential component that I adjust from build to build based on the goal. This mix had to retain humidity, allow for burrowing, and provide stability for the plants. Just mixing it up doesn't make it bioactive though. It's the addition of tiny organisms and development of things like bacteria and fungi that bring the environment to life. It takes time for all of that to happen, but I keep bins of seasoned substrate on deck, which are cycled with bacteria and contain critters like earthworms, springtails, and isopods. The plants would serve a crucial role.
What am I
in this
gonna do with a
process as
toad?
well,
Keep
but I
him
couldn't
in
add
my
them until I installed the
terrarium?
glass tracks.
That's what I'm gonna do, Tito.
I've typically
What do you
used
mean?
silicone for this, but my friend Troy Goldberg, who specializes in dart frog vivariums, recommended mounting tape.
Duh, Tito.
That's what I did here, and I gotta say it was much easier. The challenge with these larger...
You love me, Tito?
Yo, what's going on, Serpa Squad? Tanner here, and I'm back with another terrarium build. This is a build I've wanted to make for years now. Last time I tried it was back in January of 2020. Long story
You're
short,
cute,
it didn't
Troy.
work out.
I
The
mean,
logistics
Paradox
behind
in
this
your
are a little
little outfit.
convoluted, so it took a while to devise a proper solution. That begs the question, is it possible to put a waterfall inside of a terrarium? Of course it is, and it's of various sizes. It's so heavy that they snap and it I know that a lot of only stay in favorable conditions, which just so happen to be down within the soil and in the false bottom where it's moist. So they have no need or want to come out of the system because it's all dry up here. They're already down there where it's ideal for them, so they're going to stay down there, and I haven't seen any of them at all, of course. There are snails that live in here though, and they have come out of those holes from time to time. I actually didn't even know they were living in there until I lifted up my keyboard one day and I saw one, and so I posted a video of it on TikTok and that went viral.
I was looking at some of the plants in my terrarium desk and I flipped over my keyboard for some reason. I found this guy just crawling around on my keyboard. I'm guessing that he came out of this hole right here because the way that my keyboard was lined up at the time, it was right about there. So I put him back in the terrarium and let him do his thing.
Now I'm gonna have to imagine that most people aren't afraid of snails like they are with the springtail. I guess for whatever reason most people seem to think they're some sort of worm. They're not, they have legs on them, they crawl around. But anyway, a snail may pop out from time to time. It doesn't bother me at all. I'll just put them right back in the terrarium. But other than that, there's no bugs going in and out of this system. It's not like stuff's piling out or crawling on me or anything like that. It's just a snail may pop out from time to time. A lot of you are also concerned as to how the plants are going to survive in here without artificial lighting. Now everything that I chose is able to be...
Dude, I love to be doing streams from this right here. This right here, where there's a little aquarium in the desk, and then there's this big aquarium right next to the desk. Oh my god. I want that.
I guess for
in
whatever
my
reason...
life.
First things first, we gotta take a sniff to see how it's doing. That's what I'm talking about. Smells like the forest floor, which means that it's doing very well. Whenever we first come in here, you'll notice that things are looking pretty good, just a little bit different than whenever we set it up. The first thing worth mentioning is that the ferns didn't make it. Unfortunately, they're a little bit finicky in that if they don't have good airflow, sometimes they just won't thrive. And that's definitely what happened here. There was no air movement at all, and so with that, they just didn't make it. However, you'll notice that all the other plants, they're in here and they're doing quite well actually. And you'll see that I also put a little bit of leaf litter in here, as well as other botanicals, and also a couple of pieces of cork bark. So I did that after the ferns died, just to give a little bit more of a forest floor feel. I like the addition of those a lot. I think they help with the look. But why don't we go in here and do some maintenance? At this point, none of the plants are...
Remy, do you want to hear my weird idea that I have that's kind of similar to this? Okay, so have you ever had an aquarium before, Remy? So, in my brain, I'm like, for example, imagine this instead of it being a forest floor, it was just filled with water. It was just a little aquarium. And then it had tubes running from the aquarium to around your tank, around your desk. So what I imagine is something that there's a tank and then there's tubes that run around your desk, like out around the edges of your desk and everything. And what that allows is for a little fish to swim through the tubes that go around the side of your desk, the same way you'd put like an LED on the edges of your desk. It's a tube instead. And it could go around your room, it could go around your desk, it could go around a furniture and stuff like that. But the fish from that tank could, if they're small enough and everything, as long as that's all planned out right, they could swim around your desk, around your couch and furniture and stuff like that, and swim right back to the tank that they started at. That's an idea I've had for a long time, is the idea of aquarium tubes that go around your house and around furniture and stuff to incorporate the fish into your life more. Yeah, Remy, when I originally came up with this idea, the idea in my head was like tubes like this big. You know, kind of thing like that go around the room, where fish of all sorts of size could you know, as long as they can fit through that, could come up and come up right next to you while you're like, imagine you're a rich guy and you're sitting in your expensive couch, on your expensive couch watching the football game. And the fish from your fish tank could swim up and swim right next to you, and like, wouldn't that be neat? I feel like I come up with ideas that are just, someone else is gonna make a bunch of money off of them because I'm too stupid.
3 months ago, I set out to build a terrarium coffee. These two flat surfaces allowed me to square off the ends of each board. And at this point in the process, I could finally account for the 45-degree angle that's necessary for the waterfall edge. Starting at 60 grit and working all the way up to 220, I gave all the boards a proper sanding. I construct the remainder of the table with reclaimed 3/4 inch thick plywood. I cut it into various sizes and sanded them to remove the paint. I drilled countersink holes along the edges for screws. Then I applied glue on the back side of these spots, matched everything up, and screwed them together. I repeated this several times, wiping off the glue as I did. This L-shaped box will hold everything. The water will fill the top compartment and overflow in the front. Of course, I designed it in a way that the live edge will frame that in. That's what I would have said if I didn't make an error. I made these sides too short and couldn't cut the boards. I already had the glass for the front that was based on their dimensions. Luckily, it was an easy fix. I attached a thin board along the top to fill the gap. I also applied wood filler to conceal the screws and inconsistencies. For this to work correctly, the interior has to be waterproofed. A non-toxic epoxy seemed like the best solution. I mixed up 2 parts accordingly. I cut up fiberglass as well. To begin, I brushed epoxy into the corners. Then I embedded the fiberglass into this and applied more. This step is important because it ensures the corners will hold up. To apply it elsewhere, I used a small roller. Although 1 coat may have been sufficient, I wasn't taking any chances. After it cured, I scuffed it with sandpaper, mixed up another batch, and applied 2 additional layers. I'll also apply epoxy.
Wait, where are you going, Tito? You missed me?
I mixed up a test batch.
You missed me, Tito?
I liked the result, so I continued on the actual boards.
Cutie pie.
I quickly passed the heat gun over this to remove air bubbles while it was still wet. I was pleased with the result, but I only applied it to the underside of the boards. There were drips and other things I had to sand off before continuing. Now, prior to attaching them to the plywood, I stuck a piece of veneer to the edge of the top. This ball
yeah, Tito, thank you for supporting the stream, you cool guy. I appreciate you, Tito.
To be visible on
cheers.
To avoid such a thing, I created pocket holes in all of the appropriate areas. Even though the boards are sealed, I applied a bead of silicone in between the seams. This will create a gasket that will protect the wood on the exterior from moisture. I clamped the boards together and locked them in with screws. I also fastened them to the underside of the bottom. Once the silicone cured, I sanded the edges to ensure everything was uniform. Unfortunately, I also had to fill a gap on the waterfall edge. I cut up common boards at an angle that aligned perfectly to the sides of the table. Again, I don't want any visible fasteners. Wood glue and clamps were the obvious solution. However, as I was doing this, I realized I didn't account for something crucial, an access port for the pump's cord. The only spot that made sense was on the back here. Luckily, I came up with a great solution. I cut a board into 3 sections and glued the ends to the table. The middle piece will instead be removable. I shaved a little off the top for proper alignment and ensured the grain remained consistent across each piece. However, I still need a way for the pump's cord to exit the table seamlessly. I measured for the overflow height and marked for that on the back. I used that for reference as I drilled this hole, which has to be far above the water line. Neodymium magnets are the best solution I could think of to hold this board with ease. I simply used a guide to create holes for them on both surfaces. I also put dots on the ends as a reference for their polarity. I still have to account for the cord on the board though. You'll never see this, so I sloppily made a trench for it to run through with a drill and chisel. It's not pretty, but it hides everything while giving full access to the pump.
I'm gonna ban all of you people.
Exterior. I secured the door from the inside with screws to consistently sand it with the other surfaces. You'll see that I ended up with gaps along the edges as well. Rather than use wood filler or something of that nature, I filled them with wood glue. The glue binds with the wood dust as I sand, creating a seamless appearance. As I did this, I also accounted for the opening on the back. I removed the corners to align them with the live edges. Even though I hate sanding, I took the extra time to create a smooth and uniform surface. I had to account for the legs too. Originally I intended to make wooden ones, but I found these unexpectedly. I knew they'd look great. However, they're not tall enough. I measured for how tall they need to be and their side. Then I secured the leg. Even though I used hot glue, it's not a problem with the gaps. I doused them with super glue. I secured the waterfall edge with retained the live edge boards, which of course transition into the waterfall edge.
I'm gonna ban every single one of you
as well. This will be lit primarily with ambient light, and I could only use plants that will thrive in such conditions. Not only that, but other than adding water lost from evaporation and occasionally trimming them, the plants and the table in general won't require any special care. I'm not done though. I already know some of you put it in the comments. You should consider putting lights in the table. Not to worry, I did that as well. I don't know about you, but I think these color changing lights took the design to the next level. I've been working on this for months now, and it's awesome to finally see it completed and to share it with you. From start to finish it was a logistical nightmare, but I think it was worth the effort. I can't think of much else that would add this level of functional ambience to my office and hangout space. This channel and the content are dedicated to creating beautiful and functional pieces of nature art. Designs that are actually intended to work. I've made a lot of projects that display this sentiment, but this may just be one of the most intricate to date.
We're all dead and we all need to accept it. Pinky, I hope you know you're cute. Are you a nature boy like me, Pinky? I grew up being a nature boy. I would have punched an alligator in the head and not even cared about it. Oh, Pinky, I like you. What the fuck is a farm school? I mean, you could die together, Pinky, and we'd be the greatest. What if me and you died together? Would you be cool with that? Because I'd be cool with that. Me and you seem like a good couple to die together. Would you want to die with me, Pinky? Pinky, shut the fuck up. Learn how to die with people. Fucking dork. Death is part of life. Stop being a stupid little fucking cunt bitch. Stop being a little cunt bitch, okay? And you help me out with the goal, Pinky, you cunt bitch. Pokemon and Digimon is all I care about, except your mom like Pokemon. Digimon is all I care about, except your mom. 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 She a little fucking hoe. Just like you, don't you know? You a little bitch just like Uncle Rick. Yeah, I know your Uncle Rick a little bitch too. You probably a Jew, but that has nothing to do with what the fuck we're talking about. Does it? No. No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Poop and pee and we'll take a crap. Dude, I want to get on a plane. So, I mean, Pinky, if I could, I'd get on every single plane that could ever crash, ever. So that I could not crash. Because I'm Satan. And nobody will allow that. Pinky, I think it's about the end of this stream and I'm going to have to ban you. I'm going to have to ban everybody else that's ever been in the chat. Oh wait, what's this?
So I locked it together with silicone.
Can you elaborate? Shut up, Pinky, you cutie pie.
Once it's set up, I placed it on top of neoprene. I cut along the edges so they match up. This will act as a self-leveling mat. Now it's finally ready for a test run. I started with the top tank to ensure the check valve worked properly. Without it, the tank could drain out during a power outage or due to equipment failure. It worked as intended, so I filled up the bottom compartment and let it rip. Unfortunately, it didn't work how I anticipated. Irregularities caused the spillover effect to occur only in a few spots. I changed my vision and attempted to cut the side pieces to account for errors. I was able to successfully cut one, but I ruined the other. So I had to take apart the top portion and
I decided that I'm gonna ban everybody in this chat except for the people that are homosexuals. Homosexuals are totally cool with me, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'll pay them $10,000 just to exist. Shut up, Pinky. Dude, I can't even see anything right now. I mean, I can, but I can't. On a scale from 1 to 10, how sexually attractive do you find me, Pinky and Remy?
And start over with new pieces.
And what if I built my own terrarium, but it made no sense dimensional speaking wise? What if it was just random pieces that didn't make any sense? What if that's what my whole show was I just took glass pieces and glued them together, even though they didn't even make any sense. It didn't even make any sense to glue those glass pieces together. It didn't even make any sense.
This time around, I checked everything with a level to get the best overflow effect. I also cut the side pieces so they're slightly shorter than the front and back. As such, the water will only overflow from these areas. Originally, I intended for it to happen on all 4 sides, but as I developed the idea, it made sense to isolate it to the left and right. I also decided to cover up the middle.
Remy, help me finish this goal, Mr. Go to Bed. You fucking whore. You're worse than a horizontal whore. Should I open up this beer? Hold on. Hold on. Remy, do you understand the skills that I have? Remy! Do you have any clue that I can open this beer with all sorts of things? Remy, what if I open this beer with this PS4 controller? Would that blow your mind? Would it? Oh, you already seen that, Remy? Oh, fuck. Okay, that one's another one. Okay. What if... What if I was a white man? Shut up, Pinky. Butter knife is nothing. Oh, I could use an Xbox controller. What if I use an Xbox controller to open a beer? God, nobody likes my tricks. Okay, what if I use a 5-hour energy that's empty to open a beer? Never mind. You think we'll die together, Pinky? Because I hope that we'll die together. Me and you. I think we'll end up happy, me and you.
Yo, what's going on, Surplus Squad? Tanner here, and in this one, I'll make something I came up with the other day that I think is pretty cool.
You ever see those gorge waterfalls? Kinda like this. Well, it's something I've always thought looked awesome. I used this as my inspiration for the project I'm about to make. Let's get to work. I'll use this cylindrical container to house everything. I think the shape will showcase the design perfectly. My vision is to include 3 separate waterfalls. To make that happen, I'll need to create pooling areas. I used hot glue to seem to work really well. The hose to it and situated the pump. Since the glue gets into the pores,
cheers.
here
Are
it
we
is,
able to make
custom
some
made.
more?
It seals up the container perfectly and has a built-in light.
Can we make some more progress on the goal, guys?
Said, I'm pleased with how it turned out. I also think that putting a light in the lid, like I did with this build, is something I'll include more of. I've been collecting sailboats like these since I was young. I looked at them the other day, which got me thinking, maybe I should do a sailboat aquascape. Now we've all had a tank with one of those tacky plastic ones in it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm more so referring to something like this. The only thing though is you can't really put this into the tank. I have no idea what it's made out of. It's probably not safe for fish, so I think it makes sense to take matters into our own hands. That way I can ensure the materials are safe to use. Like this oak wood. Oak is a hardwood that if cured properly is fine to put in a tank. It's also readily available, so that's what I went with. I got the Cutty Sark here and I'm going to use it as my inspiration. I'm thinking of it in terms of halves, and what I'll do is translate that over to these boards. I took it to the scroll saw and cut out a length to the stones with super sand for even more texture. I think it looks great. The tank will look even better with some livestock though. Let's add them. To stock this tank, I'll keep it relatively light, starting out with 6 panda tetras. I thought these would be a good choice because they're black and white and kind of ghost-like, which goes with the theme of this tank. I also added 8 ghost shrimp for obvious reasons. This is a ghost ship,
shrimp,
so why not add some ghost shrimp? And last but not least were some bladder snails I was able to collect from a different aquarium. It should go without saying that I added dechlorinator and Fritz Turbo Start prior to adding any of this. Both of course were provided by Fritz, who sponsors the channel.
Maggots with an F. Maggots with an F. Maggots with an F for best I've been but sex. I bet.
And that, my friends, is the Ghost Ship Aquascape. I gotta say, it's definitely not something I ever thought I'd be doing.
Are you telling me?
But even more so now with the inhabitants.
Okay, let me pause this video. Are you telling me at this point that you guys can't help me out with the goal? I'm gonna have to ban each and every one of you guys. I'm sorry. Pinky, you're especially banned. Because I know your mother. Your mother is my girlfriend.
I'm seriously enjoying it.
Alright, cheers you
I'm curious
guys.
to know what you think though. Let me know down in the comments. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about the LED floodlight. This has a really cool feature to it that allows me to change the color, brightness, all that kind of stuff. So I can make it a blue color for a more ominous feel, or really whatever I want. I'll leave links to that down in the description because I'm sure some of you will be curious about it. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this one. As always, I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments and leave it with a thumbs up if you liked it. Until next time, Serpa Squad, take care and peace.
Put some in the weed, put some in the hole. All motherfucker ever did ever know. Boom, 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 boom. I could die in the next 10 minutes.
I made the no-filter guppy fish tank. Structure began like
I'll probably die within
Initially,
the
I
next
didn't care
10
for
minutes.
this because it looked forced and too artificial.
We kept going though, and I'm glad we did because it worked out in our favor, as you'll see shortly. We were nearly at the top when we realized we had to stop stacking and begin locking the pieces together. It's rare to get escape right on the first try, but this was one of those times. We tweaked it a lot as we went, and bouncing ideas off of each other allowed it to happen much faster. Anyway, I mixed up an aquarium safe 2-part epoxy that I pressed between the contact points. This cures quickly and is easy to apply, especially if you have someone else to stabilize the pieces as you add it.
You find me
Working
sexually
together, we were able
attractive
to
or
strengthen
something,
it all with
Pinky?
ease. As you see here, adding epoxy in key areas will add rigidity to the structure and keep everything in place. We let it cure for 15 minutes and continued stacking. While the first half was relatively...
You shut up, Pinky. I'm sexually attractive whether you like
This
it
is
or
something
not.
I've been planning for
Cheers!
and working on for many years now. I've thought about it, psyched myself out, and thought about it some more, and I figured it was finally time to just go.
You're
for
cool
it.
though,
In fact,
Pinky,
I've been
you know
hinting
that?
at it for well over
Look at
a
this
year
guy.
now. I think I could do some sort of vivarium, maybe a turtle, maybe a saltwater tank. Got your puffer fish. Who we getting next?
Salt water.
I like to preemptively buy containers and materials. I got this though for some future projects which we'll discuss at a later date, such as this 25-gallon tank, which I'm really excited to get moving on. Don't expect it anytime soon though. It's going to take quite a while to get it looking exactly how I want.
I'm
As
gonna
many of you
steal
know,
his
2022 has been a crazy year for me with regular life stuff, my finger injury, the move, among other things. I had full intentions to do this all earlier in the year, and I wanted to keep it a surprise until I finally
He's
did.
a reptilian.
But just a few months ago, I actually spilled the beans about it. Started saltwater, which on a side note, I can't believe that nobody noticed or said anything about the RPM that I've shown in various videos. Given the circumstances at hand, especially the move, I kept pushing this back because I knew it would be irresponsible if I had begun at the old house. I've been keeping fish for well over 16 years now, but that has been exclusively in the freshwater world. I absolutely love it, but it's glaringly obvious that there's a whole other side to this hobby that I've been missing out on. All things considered, my new plan was to begin in early 2023. My friends over at Fritz reached out to me though not long ago, and they said they wanted to help me set up my first saltwater aquarium. Truthfully, I hesitated at first and almost said no. As I thought about it some more though, I figured, you know what, I could use this as fuel to force me to finish the room sooner. For the past week or so, I've been working non-stop to finish up this room, and although I still have to add the final touches, it's done enough to start adding enclosures. And I believe that the new beginnings of a proper animal room space are going to change
You're
everything.
gay, Pinky.
So it makes complete sense that the very first build that we do in the new animal room is a saltwater reef aquarium. It goes without saying that many of you have been hounding me about this since the advent of the channel. I was and do listen, but I have to do things on my term. I've researched all of this a good deal. However, I know that the real learning is all going to happen once I finally start doing it. So I want to preface this entire thing by saying that I only loosely understand what I'm doing here. I'm by no means an expert, nor is this intended to be a tutorial or a how-to guide or anything like that. There's plenty of resources out there that will teach you how to do this step by step if you want to learn more. That said, I want to document what it's like to transition from a lifelong freshwater keeper into the salty side. Thus far, it's been daunting for myself, and I believe that's the typical sentiment. So let's go on this journey together of learning and expanding our horizons into the beautiful world of saltwater aquariums.
This video is sponsored by Fritz Aquatics.
The best place to start with all of this is probably where the aquariums differ the most, the water. Now you may think that salt water is composed of exactly that, salt and water. However, the salt used to create a saltwater tank or marine salt is a little different than what you're used to. At a high level, it's composed of various other things such as magnesium and potassium. Take a look at this RPM from Fritz for example, and you'll see what I mean. So all I gotta do is mix this up in some water and we're good to go, right? Not exactly. The thing to consider is what water we are mixing this with. Our tap water usually comes from municipal treatment facilities or wells. In my case, I'm running off of well water. In either situation, our tap water contains an array of minerals and other components. Meaning that if we were to mix this into the water as is, there would be a lot more going on than what's desired. This could cause an array of issues such as unwanted algae growth. Think of it from the freshwater side. We're always trying to balance excess nutrients in the tank to create stability. The same goes for saltwater. This is where the RODI, or reverse osmosis deionized system I showed earlier, comes into play. It sends the tap water through a series of filters which remove pretty much all impurities, and what remains is pure
thought about
water.
it, and
So if we start out
I
at
came
zero,
to the
so to speak,
conclusion
with RODI water, it's much...
that you are banned, Shabisky.
much easier to manage exactly what's in it. I've been running my unit for the past 2 days to create water that's a suitable vehicle for marine salt. I have two 55-gallon drums here that I'm using to store all of the water. Even though I got the water and the salt all sorted out, I still don't have the other components I need for this build, so I gotta reach out to Fritz to get that all sorted out. Okay, so I got my man Sean here, and I mentioned this to him maybe about 2 years ago. Then he called me maybe about a month ago and was like, dude, we gotta get you set up with a saltwater tank.
This sounds exciting, your first big saltwater tank.
I don't want to do anything too crazy since it's my first time going around, but I think going kind of like an all-in-one route probably makes the most.
It also promotes a fuller, more natural.
What's up, Easy? I have no clue, Easy. Life is complicated, but I have this last beer here in front of me, and I'm gonna drink it, and, I don't even know who you guys are. Coffee? Pinky, don't make me overcharge you. Alright, thank you guys for the support on the stream. If you guys want to come through with any last minute support, now would be the time. Death is near. Alright, thank you guys for the support on the stream.